Good evening, everybody. I'll walk you back to March of 2014 and walk you through some facts that surround the case that we're working here in the sheriff's office. Going back all the way to March 11th of 2014, a white female, 26 years old, named Kristen Branch is arrested by JSO and charged with forgery, fraud, and some narcotics charges. She is placed in our jail at that time. She just so happens to be pregnant at the time that she's placed in the jail. She gives her then 2-year-old and 4-year-old children to their father at the time that she's arrested. That father is 29-year-old Dwayne Weedon. He's a black male, and he's actually homeless at the time that he takes custody of her 2 kids. They are his children as well. Because he's homeless, he checks himself in to the Salzbacher Center directly behind the sheriff's office here. They provide him services, and he stays there with the 2 kids until August 13th of 2014, and I'll walk you through this timeline here. That's when Miss Branch gives birth to their child. She's in our jail, goes over to UF Health, gives birth to their child, and he is Nehemiah Weedon. He's a biracial male. Dwayne Weedon is also the father of that child and takes custody of him just a couple days after he's born. Weedon remains in the Salzbacher Center with now 3 kids. Just so happens on September 15th of 2014, Miss Branch is sentenced and begins to serve her sentence out at Florida State Prison. In October of 2014, and the dates are a little bit off, so I'll just use the month of October 14th, Weedon tells the caseworker at Salzbacher that he's having some trouble caring for Nehemiah, and he's going to try to seek other places to put Nehemiah. The next day, he sees that same caseworker and tells that caseworker, as a matter of fact, he's made arrangements with some family members of his out of state, and he has turned over custody, care, and control of Nehemiah to that family member out of state. Flash forward to December of that same year, 2014, Weedon, because of some general behavioral issues that he has at Salzbacher, is asked to leave the Salzbacher with the kids. He has both of the children at that point in time, is asked to leave and leave Salzbacher to places unknown. I'll go to almost a year from that point in time to November 22nd of last year, November 2015. Miss Branch is released from Florida State Prison and makes contact with Weedon at that time. She gets the 2 children from him, and Weedon tells her at that time about what has transpired with Nehemiah, that he's given Nehemiah to family members of his out of state, and Miss Branch really is not questioning that information from him, and kind of moves on with her life. December 31st, New Year's Eve of last year, Branch is settled in with her family, living with them, and as she discusses Nehemiah's custody, they become concerned, if you will, with the circumstances that surrounded the transfer of custody of Nehemiah to Weedon's family. So at that point in time, they called the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, only because that's where her family lives. The Sheriff's Office out there comes out and turns the case over to us, and we begin, at that point in time, New Year's Day, begin our investigation into the custody of Nehemiah and where he is. Weedon has not been able to be contacted by JSO detectives since then, and Branch last had contact with him on December 21st. That was by telephone. He has Weedon has numerous family members who live in various states, out of state on the East Coast and kind of towards the central U.S. It is what you would think would be an easy task for us just to make a couple calls to try to find the custody of Nehemiah has turned into a very logistically difficult and laborsome event that we spent this last week trying to do. Apparently, Weedon is estranged from his family members, and many of those family members are estranged from each other. So we've had to do independent contacts with each one, repeated efforts to try to get the information out. What, again, should have been an easy task, turned into all week. We worked through the week, but it was this weekend, again, still working here, we gained information and put together that we strongly believe that little Nehemiah is deceased, and he's deceased from unknown reasons. I truly can't go into a whole lot more details about what that is, because this is still a very active, very fluid case, and I don't want to jeopardize any aspects of what we're doing and what we're working now with with over-providing details to the public. But the facts that we put together truly strongly believe us to believe the fact that Nehemiah is deceased. And we believe that occurred back in November of 2014, or excuse me, October of 2014, when he made those allegations to the Salzbacher staff that he had turned the child over to family members. This child is not with any family members that we've been able to locate, and he's certainly not with his mother. And again, that's why we're here on a Sunday evening. We've worked through the week up until this point, this afternoon, when we felt strongly to go ahead and step out. And what we're doing here is trying to find anybody who may have seen Weedon or Nehemiah back in that September, October time frame. And I know this was a while back, and asking people's memory to be stretched. Weedon frequented the Springfield area. He was also known to frequent the Bay Meadows Road area and some areas on Jacksonville's south side. There's a couple of pictures that will be distributed in your packet. One is Weedon with short hair. One is Weedon with longer hair. The picture with the longer hair is what he's last known to be, and probably looks more like today. But I want to provide both of those pictures. It's unrelated, but Weedon does have a couple warrants out for him for credit card fraud and dealing in stolen property. Again, this is a trying case because initially our investigations was leading us just to try to help provide answers to the family about the custody of this little boy, and it turned tragic as we started coming up with empty answers. Any information that somebody has in reference to this can be given to us. You can call us at 630-0500, provide us information, but also, just like with anything else, you can remain anonymous, call the Crime Stoppers, tell us what you might know. If there is anything that you know about this, at 1-866-845-TIPS. Truly, we're looking for any kind of answers that we have in reference to seeing him during that time before mid-October when he reported that he had turned the child over to family members, and back to when he was born back in September, or in August. So if anybody has any questions, I'll do my best. And again, the details are limited to us, but also what I have is going to be limited to the public and to the media, just because I certainly don't want to jeopardize anything that we may be currently working. I wish there was some hope that he was alive, but truly it doesn't seem to be the case.
Any questions?
Chief Hackney, Larry Spruill, Action News. Maybe I was, confused. I thought, did you say that Weedon met with his baby mother and gave her the baby? I guess I was...
No, when she was released in November 22nd, she did meet with him, and he gave her the two children. Okay, it was when she asked where Nehemiah was that he gave her the explanation that he was with family members out of state, and again, for whatever reason, she accepted that at face value, and just kind of began to move on with her life from there. We're all kind of flummoxed by what exactly has occurred during these times, and especially after that time when he was kicked out of Salzbacher and there. But it's during that time frame, right around the time that he reported turning custody over to family, that we obviously believe that wasn't the case, and something worse had happened to the child.
Did she not try to find out where he was after that meeting?
She, like I said, from her accounts to us, she accepted what he said at face value, and make any judgments on that. But it wasn't until the 31st of New Year's Eve that she got with her family, and they had questions about it, and obviously so, and that's when we became involved.
What did your officers go by for information as thinking that he is now deceased?
That's kind of where I can't go into that. Now, I don't want to go into the specifics of what led us to that, but there's been information that we've gathered that is specific enough to cause us and myself to step out here and tell you that we're not working this as anything other than most likely the death of this child.
Any, current whereabouts or possible leads that you think that the suspect or the father is he still in Jacksonville or in this area?
Right, we have some information that he may still be in Jacksonville. Again, that's why I kind of put up both of those pictures to hope to not only find anybody who has information out back from when he may have been with the child, but now obviously we want to have conversations with him. He's got some explaining to do for us, and he can't do that and have some holes that can't be filled in until really we have him and he provides the answers to those. So that's really why we're looking for him. But yeah, you never know where people go these days, but the means by which he has to leave Jacksonville are probably limited, so he's probably here somewhere.
Any other questions?
John Finley, WJXT. When y'all talk to other family members that he might have contacted, did they say he tried to contact them, or did he not do anything at all?
Again, he was estranged with numerous family members, and as we tried to pin down who an aunt was that he may have provided this child to and changed custody, we just came up with no viable aunts, family members, cousins, or anything that would have done it. But again, it was a lot longer than it should have been to find those answers out.
On one of these incident reports, the location of the incident is 12453 Phillips Highway. Is that a location that he was at? Is this a friend's house?
When I mentioned the south side, that's one of the locations where he was known to be. So I mentioned the south side areas. That's another place that he could be. So, yeah.
Any other questions?
I have one more. What was the name of the mother? I mean, you mentioned it, but I
Yeah, it's Kristen, Kristen Branch, and she's a white female. She's 26. And thank you for sharing this information with the public.
Teresa Stepsinski from the Times Union. At this point, can you say when and where was the last verified sighting of Nehemiah?
That's leading us back to the Salzbacher Center back in October of 2014. And again, those folks do a great job providing services, and they have caseworkers that work with them. And it was back in that day. It seems like for an infant, they have child care for a little bit older children. The issues that they may have had with some of the infants, I think they came up with some ad hoc services to provide child care for Nehemiah's age child. And I think that's the last time there was a verified for real sighting.
Any other question?
As we'll provide updates as we have them, and just appreciate your time and attention to this matter.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
Melissa, are you sending out electronic versions?
Yes.
Or is that what you're doing this minute?
No, I'll send it out. Yeah.
Just making sure this is.
That's the child that's missing.
Which
That's
is
the most recent picture they had.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Chief.
Chief.
Mm-hmm. Hackney.